You need to kind of make sure you understand the relationship between the role that you have and the money-making aspect of the business. Want your manager to buy into your promotion by telling you exactly what are the goals or what it is that you need to accomplish to warrant that promotion. Because we are not in those higher level positions, decision making at higher level within organizations really lack the perspective of Black people and ethnic minorities. What you need to demonstrate when you're asking for a pay rise is the value that you have brought to the company. Each of us has a unique profile, and we need to tap into our uniqueness and use those uniqueness to propel ourselves.
How long do you think it can take somebody to get there to 6-figure salary brand? This episode is sponsored by Moneyhub, a platform that allows you to see all of your current accounts in one place and also provides you with smart money management tools to help you get right with your money. Welcome back to the Takeoff. We have a special guest in the building today, Chirstine, who is the founder of Empowered by Experience. How are you doing today, Chirstine?
Hi, Ato. I'm good. Thank you for having me. I'm good.
Yeah, no, very, very welcome. Yes, I'm good as well. As you can tell, I think I might have lost my voice. I'm not sure. I think, too much screaming on the weekend.
I can hear you well.
Oh, you can? Okay. So, can you tell the listeners, who is Chirstine?
Well, Chirstine is, as part of my career, a finance professional.
Okay.
And I am the founder of Empowered by Experience, as you said. This is a career success hub where, I help and I coach mainly Black and minority ethnic corporate professionals to ascend in their career. So whether they're looking to get a pay rise or get a new job or get promoted at work, I help them secure those.
Okay. Wow. Great. And we're going to talk a bit more about that and promotions and pay rise, because I think that's definitely something that's probably going to be important for a lot of people this year, given cost of living crisis has been a headline. Yeah, it's very, very crazy. But before that, can you give us a bit of an insight into the day in life of Chirstine?
Yeah, so I'll give you the insight both in terms of my own career, but also in terms of Empowered by Experience. So day in life of Chirstine, I work full time.
Okay.
And so Empowered by Experience is kind of my side hustle, side project. I work as a finance director within a real estate investment management company. Okay. So my day normally starts around 5 a.m.
5?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
But that's because we have a setup where right now we only have one car in our household.
Okay.
So I go and drop off my husband. He starts at 6 a.m. Hopefully, luckily it's near where we live. When I come back, I exercise on the days that I can. And so on the days that I work from the office, I will then get ready, drop my my God-given son at school, and then head into the office in central London. On the days that I don't work from the office and I work from home, it is slightly easier. I still wake up around 5 a.m., still do the drop-off and everything. But then I just don't go into central London. So that's quite simple. So a little day in the life, it's, then I either start with my corporate 9 to 5 or, I have flexibility in how I look at my time.
Okay.
So, you will see me also, work on my side hustle typically after I've finished with my day job, just strategizing, coming up with ideas and things like that, but also catching up with my assistant and, trying to get things moving on that front as well.
Okay. Wow. It sounds like a busy day, but a superb day at that as well. And I just wanted to take it back a bit in terms of were you born here, were you born somewhere else, where are your parents from?
Yeah, sure. So no, I wasn't born in the UK. I was born in France. But I actually grew up in Cameroon, where I'm from.
Okay.
My parents are from there as well. So I actually arrived in the UK only when just before turning 18.
Okay.
And in terms of my studying, I came to uni here. So that's the reason why I came to the UK.
Oh, okay.
But I couldn't go to uni straight. So I did like a bit of English lesson first.
Okay.
And then like a pre-university diploma.
So did you not want to go to university, or was it a requirement that you had to learn English first?
Yeah, so absolutely. Because
Really?
when I needed to learn English first, because I
Okay.
came in as a French speaker.
Okay.
And so didn't have much English at all.
Oh, wow.
So I had to do that first. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I did that for 3 to 6 months,
Okay.
something like that. And
That's
then
intense.
yeah, that was intense. And then I did the diploma that also had English again lessons attached. So yeah, so all in all, about 9 months before I actually started uni.
Okay, wow. And what was that experience like for you? Like after, doing your English course, was it still struggles? University, honestly, I don't know, like university level now, if it was a struggle or not. But was it? Did you find it to be a struggle for yourself? And what did you study at uni?
Yeah, so I studied at Queen Mary University of
That's
London.
That's a great uni, yeah.
Yeah, it was a good uni, and I studied business management for my degree. So in terms of whether uni was hard or not, I think for me it was hard in the sense that where I used to, I came from having an education in Cameroon, and back then it was obviously not university, it was college education, right? It was college education. I don't know if it's the similar terms here, as you can tell. I didn't go to school here, so I guess it was school education. And back there in Cameroon, I would go to one classroom for the entire year.
Oh.
So coming to uni here, and also my diploma was something similar. I was in a very small college. It literally had just started. I was the first student for my diploma course of that school. So again, I had one classroom that I attended throughout my diploma. So going to uni was a total shock. Okay. Because there were all those different rooms that I needed to figure out which lecture was taking place at, and then you had seminars, and I literally was lost for the first year. Like I didn't understand what was going on. The whole system was like totally strange to me. First of all, of course, I was still trying to learn English too, and so trying to adapt to understanding that actually, no, it's not just one room you're going to be going to. There are multiple rooms. Literally, some are on campus, some are off campus. Like literally, that was hard. That was hard.
Wow, it's crazy because that whole learning multiple different subjects. We've been doing that from primary school.
I see that with my God-given son now, because he's in year 8, and so he's already going to different classes. And so for him, I think uni is not gonna be as hard from the perspective of just getting used to the system. So for me, it was not hard because the lessons were hard, but it was just getting used to a new way of doing things. It was. It's
definitely interesting. Very interesting that it's one subject. So does that mean it's longer then? Because you're doing one subject, does that mean you spend more time in education abroad?
No, it's not one subject. It's that all the teachers come to that one classroom and they find you in that classroom. So you, the student, are not going around looking for where you're going to have your lecture today. Like the teacher come to you to that specific classroom. And so so that's why it was difficult.
So
there are a lot of other, it was a lot of different subjects, but it's just that the teachers came to the student.
Okay. University, you have to go everywhere. Literally, you have to. If you don't know where you're going, it's going to be a challenge. And then, so you said you study business management.
Business management, yeah.
And did you graduate?
I did. I graduated. 2-1.
Nice.
Not bad.
Fantastic. No, that's good. 2-1's good. And what was like your first job out of like after university?
So, I mean, the very first one after uni, I would say was my internship.
Okay.
So I tried to secure internship during uni, but I couldn't. And actually just after, like literally after graduating, I secured an internship with Penguin, the publisher, and I did that in their finance department as a business analyst.
Okay.
I literally, just before that, I was working, which was my student job, like as a retail assistant at Greg's.
Mm-hmm.
And so I left Greg's to go and do this business analyst job or internship, which was a very short internship. So I left Greg's where I had, a nice, not a great paycheck, but something that was kind of stable, and just left that all up for a 1-month chance.
Okay.
At Penguin. Well, initially it was going to be just a couple of weeks, but I was ready to take the plunge because I knew that was going to open more doors for me.
Yeah.
In the end, it ended up being just a month. And so after that, because I graduated in 2008, that was right in the middle of the recession.
Yeah.
The biggest recession that we had seen in years. So it took me a whole 3 years to find my career job. So in the meantime, I did a lot of temping within the NHS in various admin jobs.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then what was the job that you got like after?
After Penguin.
Yeah.
So.
Oh no, sorry. After the 3 years.
After the 3 years
struggle. Yeah.
I got a finance assistant, pension fund accountant job at RBS.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, that was, by that point, when that job came up, I was so discouraged.
Really?
I had been looking for a job for 3 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah, I mean, we were in the middle of recession. Nobody was hiring. They were hiring freezes because of literally, like, Lehman Brothers collapsed.
Yeah, that was mad.
Back then, yeah. So literally the whole world economy was on standstill and they were just hiring freezes. And on top of that, I was not a British citizen at the time. So I even when I could have been considered for some opportunities, I faced that struggle. Okay.
Wow. So you got the job, but were you ecstatic when you got that job?
I was absolutely ecstatic because I really wanted to get into accounting.
Okay.
And I wanted an opportunity that was going to sponsor me for my professional accountancy qualification. And so that job met all of those requirements. So they would sponsor me for the ACCA. And it was an entry-level job, exactly what I was looking for.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it literally came at a point where I was so desperate and I was like on the verge of giving up as well.
Wow. Good thing you didn't.
Because it had been so long.
Yeah. Wow. So now you're director. Talk me through that journey. How did you get from, despair to finance director?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This journey has been long. It has not happened overnight. So my job at RBS entry level was 2011.
Okay.
And I made finance director in 2021.
Wow.
Last year. So that's
10
years.
Yeah.
So it has been a long time coming. But what I'm going to say is this. Within the finance space, a lot of the time they need you to be a qualified accountant. And so actually, it didn't take long for me to become a finance director once I qualified as a professional, as a certified accountant. So 2011 to 2013, that was RBS, pension fund accounting. Then I realized that I don't want to continue in pension. That was a good step into financial services, and just having RBS on the CV was a big name, Royal Bank of Scotland. So that was an entry point for me. But then I started strategizing, and I was like, okay, how can I position myself to access something else and access something within, the investment sphere? And I realized that, look, I speak French. It's a skill set that not all accountants here in London have. So I can actually play to that strength and try and find jobs that require me to speak French. That means that I niched down in terms of the pool of jobs that I was targeting. And I came across this vacancy at State Street where they needed a French speaker, and I applied for it. And it was to be an associate investment controller. It's just a way to say it's a finance it's the finance assistant still, but it's kind of associate level already. So I applied for it. Long story short, I got that job, but that was really because I niched down. Like, when I looked at all of the things that I could do, I realized that I needed to go for things where French speaking would be a requirement.
Okay.
That would limit my competition as well. So that I did that for maybe 2.5 years, or maybe just something like that, 2 years. So 2013 to 2015. 2015, something happened in my personal life. I lost my dad.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
And so that's okay. And so I kind of had to think about my life in a different way. The job at State Street was extremely demanding.
Yeah.
Long hours. Literally, sometimes I would work throughout the night. It was really, really intense.
Wow.
And I just realized that, I wasn't in the space of mind where I could push my body that much anymore because of having to deal with that grief.
Yeah.
So I started, I didn't even start looking for a job. I just was in the mindset that this is not sustainable for me at this point in my life. And so the passing happened in April, and I actually got a new job somewhere that year, probably September, October, something like that. 2015, I then started at Hermes Investment Management. Okay. They are now known as Federated Hermes. So over there, it was so I just want to say that the experience though at State Street was very enriching. Although it was very intense, very, very enriching. I remember when I had my exit interview, my manager said at the time that you realize that the experience you've had here is like 10 years worth of experience. I'm like, yeah, well, of course, because of all the hours that you put in. Wow. But yeah, so that experience there, and at State Street was the first time that I moved into real estate investment management and that world. So at Hermes, when I went there, and again, State Street continued to sponsor me for ACCA because I didn't finish my qualification with RBS. State Street took over the sponsorship. So that was always something I needed to have, an employer that would sponsor me for the qualification, because what happens when you move jobs and you are being sponsored by employers, they typically want you to reimburse the cost of what they've invested in you for the qualification. So I always needed to find an employer that would be willing to pay for, to reimburse the previous employer. And that's what I've done. I did that with State Street, and I also did that with Hermes Investment. So at Hermes Investment, I actually did qualify. And over there, I still was within real estate investment management. And over there, I was an assistant manager by this point, part qualified. And over there, I was there slightly, I think just under 2 years.
Okay.
And it was a more relaxed environment compared to State Street, literally 10 times more relaxed than State Street.
Wow.
And so over there, I over there again, it was also another job where I needed to have French as well. Yeah. Okay. So in that job, I also need to have French. And I was working on an international portfolio. But then over there, I got to know about a different type of investment, which was private debt, so indirect lending. So that was very interesting to me. I really enjoyed that. And then I left after just less than 2 years and moved into the current company where I am. And I started as a fund controller. And fund controller, again, needed somebody who speaks French.
Okay, wow. That
was specifically for a French investor when I was first hired, working on a French insurance company, portfolio, and doing, working on their real estate structures and managing the finances of those real estate structures. And so I got promoted to finance director in 2021.
Wow.
And now I have a portfolio, still have that initial investor, French investor that I had when I joined, but I now have a much bigger portfolio.
Wow.
And I oversee structures that have AUMs, asset under management of over 2 billion euros.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. So to walk me through the difference in terms of what you're doing now versus when you started. Is it I know you said State Street was quite intense, but I'm sure that you're probably managing your workload. But yeah, walk me through what your responsibilities are now. Yeah,
from when I started to now.
Yeah.
So I always look at, exactly that. How is this opportunity? How is this job going to challenge me and make me grow? So it's always something that I look forward to in anything that I choose to pursue. So at RBS, it was getting into finance and getting this training as a junior accountant. And so back then, it was recording debits and credit within an accounting system. They were using TAS at the time. And then also learning about putting together financial statements for pension funds. So I had a few pension funds that I was doing that for. So basically taking the whole journey of a transaction, which is, for instance, within pension, it's like, okay, you have people paying into their pension, right? So they have what they call AVCs, additional voluntary contributions. How does that go through the financial statement? So you would record it, and then it will go into a line somewhere, and then poof, you have your financial statement that I've produced. So I worked on all of that. At junior level, obviously under the supervision of the managers at the time. And so at State Street, I left the producing work and I went into a job where I would do review of financial statements. So that would be produced by third-party service providers like other accounting firms. And it was a lot of coordination, but also helping asset managers kind of work on their transactions, whether it was a merger or a new acquisition, like how we needed to capture data points regarding those transactions, and I would help them do that. And so when I moved to Hermes, I realized that, I had been doing I had done some data entry and preparation at RBS, but that was within pension fund, and I didn't really do any data preparation for real estate. So I said to myself, actually, I want to understand how, we actually account for those things. I just don't want to review. I also want to kind of solidify my own skills and do a bit of preparation for real estate as well. So that's the job at Hermes. I had that because at Hermes I had both portfolios that were within real estate, but also portfolios that were, as I said, within private debt and direct lending. So I got back into getting my hands dirty, producing things, and that was good because that experience where you are the one actually producing the numbers gives you a very good understanding of the chain. When you see financial statement and you see your balance sheet, you see your P&L, you have a good understanding as to how those numbers get to where they are. What are the entries behind them? And you are actually able to do better reviews because you're able to go and question how people have treated things within the financial system. So I did that. And the good thing with that experience at Hermes, as I said, was the additional investment type, which was private debt and direct lending getting. And also there, it was a fund launch that I was involved in. Really, really exciting. See something go from nothing to, being launched and then trying to turn it into business as usual, but like setting up all of the operations. That was great experience as well. And then moving on to where I am now at Heinz, where I'm a director of finance. Over here, I wanted something to kind of really elevate me. So I was an assistant manager at Hermes, and then I went into becoming a fund controller. So I didn't even, I skipped being a finance manager. I went 2 steps ahead and became a fund controller. And there, I was literally thrust in and at the deep end.
Wow.
Literally. When I joined, the people who were doing my job before had already left, so there was nobody to do me a handover of anything. So I had to kind of onboard everything on my own and just really make it my own. So that was great experience too, because I had to kind of roll up my sleeves and try to go really deep into what had happened and try and understand what had happened without the people who were there to explain to me what had happened. And so again, it was me helping. So what I wanted to do was work very closely with fund managers and portfolio managers. The reason being is that that's basically the heart of the business. So I always say, if you're working close to the heart of the business, there is less chance of you being of them getting rid of you.
Okay.
So so I always try to really work close to the heart of the business. Like, where is the money made? I want to work close to that.
Okay.
So I actually at Hermes, I was already working close to fund managers, but I just wanted an even closer and deeper relationship with fund managers, and to kind of understand what their considerations are and how it ends up impacting what we see on the finance side. And so that experience gave me that and more.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's such a crazy and interesting story. I wanted to know, like, you said that you went 2 levels ahead, right? And it's probably a question that we'll touch on later on, but just keep in mind about that, because you're clearly trying to teach other people how to get promoted, how to ask for a higher salary. What if I told you that there was a platform that allows you to see how you're spending all of your money across all of your accounts, especially at a time where the cost of living is at its highest that it's been in years? What if I also told you that this platform also allows you to see how much income you are getting every month across all of your accounts, as well as helping you to set budgets for all of your expenses? It doesn't stop there though. This platform also helps you to send a record of your rent payments to Experian so that it is recorded on your credit report, which can help to boost your credit score. This platform sounds amazing, right? Well, this platform is called Moneyhub, which you can download for free by tapping the link in my description. You get access to premium features free for 6 months, 6 whole months with no auto renew. And then if you decide that you love the app and the platform and you want to continue with premium features, then it will only cost you £1.49 per month. That is the deal of the century, right? Well, go and download the Moneyhub app right now. And that leads us on to Empowered by Experience. Why did you decide that you want to start this?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Empowered by Experience, the reason I started that is because I realized that, as a Black woman within financial services, as a Black professional, a lot of the time, first of all, in most of the places that I've been either the only one or the one of very few, typically the only one, the only Black person, the only Black woman, something like that. And a lot of the time, even if there are others, or even if it's not within my own company, my peers, I see that we do not progress in our career. So we tend to be stuck at lower down the hierarchy in corporate places. And so for me, I've always been very ambitious, I told you. So I wanted to kind of be of service and help others who also wanted that for themselves, but didn't necessarily know how to get, how to get that, how to advance in their career. And I realized that, look, my career, I've now been within financial services for over a decade. So I have a wealth of experience that I can share with people and help them kind of draft a plan of action that will help them ascend in their careers. I find it's super important. One, because it helps my peers, the community. It helps us take better care of our families at home. If you have a job, a higher paid job, it means that you can offer a better life, like a more decent life to your family. I really care about that. And also, the other thing that I noticed is that because we are not in those higher level positions, decision making at higher level within organizations really lack the perspective of Black people and minorities. And it's something that is really an issue because it means that a lot of the decisions are made without taking us into account. And so I want to help people get into those positions where actually now senior management has access to our community, to a pool of people who look and sound and feel like us, and who will know the sort of issues that we deal with and can then use that perspective to inform decision making. Yeah.
Wow. Powerful. Powerful. And I agree with a lot of what you said. When I was working at my previous company, that was a big issue, and it was a massive company. There was many minorities that you know, they could get to assistant manager level. You know, they've hired lots of graduates, minorities, but when it was to get to the manager or senior manager, very few in between. You know, which was quite strange. I was like, wow, so this is a massive company. You've got so many talented people, but they're just not progressing. Is it lack of talent? Do they just not know what they're doing? You know,
It's not lack of talent.
Exactly.
It is not lack of talent. It is the fact that it's two-sided. It's definitely not lack of talent. It is the fact that talent, ethnic minority talent, does not know how to access those senior management positions, and those in leadership do not know how to promote those ethnic minority workers. So the issue is both sides.
Okay.
Right? The ethnic minorities, they don't know how to access the senior leadership position, and senior leaders don't know how to promote our community.
Yeah, catch 2022, which is crazy, which is where you come in. So can you talk to me about how you help people with your careers? And I can see there's a book here. Is this your book?
That is my book.
Okay.
Yeah, I released this.
You can show it into the camera. Yeah.
It is Promotion Achieved, 10 strategies to achieve your career success goal of a promotion at work that are recession and pandemic proof.
Okay.
I told you that I got promoted last year. That was right in the middle of a pandemic. And so I said to myself, look, if I'm able to get promoted in the middle of a pandemic, when people are losing jobs, I need to share my blueprint with others. And so I coach people, as I said, to, get pay rises, to get a new job, get hired into a new job, or get promoted at work. So that's what the book is. The book is more focused, obviously, on the promotion part, getting promoted in your current job, in your current field. Yeah. Okay,
great. Let's start with that. Let's start with promotion. I know this is going to be such a long-winded question. It's going to be generous because I know it's it depends on what industry and everything, but there's going to be some common practices and techniques that you can do. So what steps can someone take to get themselves promoted?
So there are a lot of steps that people need to go and get promoted. And I'll definitely say pick up the book. It's available on Amazon because I obviously, and it's a very quick read as well. So
it looks it. Yeah,
very quick read. Full of action, packed of action and things like that. So what can people do to get promoted at work? What I always say is that you need to be already acting and already performing at the level of the promotion that you're looking for. And you need to have done that consistently over time. I won't sit here and pretend that you can just be promoted from one day to the next. You need to demonstrate that you are operating and performing at the level, the superior level, over time. I will say to people, if you're looking for a promotion, give yourself 12 months at least. You can give yourself 6 months if you want, but I always say to people, at the end of the day, what's the rush? It is better to go in with a plan and execute your plan and know what you're working towards than try to rush things. Now, obviously, some people will say to you that they've been waiting for and they've been passed over for a promotion for a long time. And so they're not in the business of waiting another year. But what I'm going to say is that actually a year out of your career is not a big deal. In the biggest, scheme of things, 1 year is not a big deal. So I would say to people, think about your promotion in something that can happen within a 12-month period. It can happen sooner, you never know, but I would say give yourself 12 months. And what do you need to do in that 12 months? You need to demonstrate that you are performing at the level that you want to be promoted into. What is that level? How do you know what that level looks like? Well, you need to go on job sites to understand what it is that what are the requirements of somebody the level that you are looking to be promoted into.
Wow.
So if you're currently a manager and you want to be a director,
Mm-hmm.
what is the difference?
Mm-hmm.
Go on job sites, go on vacancies, have a look. What does that look like?
Mm-hmm.
What are the differences? What is required for a director compared to what is required for a manager?
Mm-hmm.
And start putting things in place that will help you demonstrate those skills and those those skills and those behaviors that are commensurate with the level you are trying to get to.
Okay. Wow.
And then it doesn't just, I won't say do that and don't communicate at all. No, actually, one of the chapters in the book is all about making your intentions clear and communicating.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't just go ahead and start performing at that level. No, you have conversations with your managers about first of all, your ambition, like you want to be promoted. You want to have those conversations and you want them to agree to what it will take for you to be promoted. Okay. Because then that becomes your goal and you're working towards an agreed goal. So it's not something that you are doing in your head. Yeah. It's something that you have got management commitment for, right? That is how I've always done it. Okay. And it has worked, and not just for me, for all of the people that I coach as well. Okay. Because you may think that something is important, but for your manager it's not. So you've wasted your time on a task that means nothing for your manager. So you want your manager to buy into your promotion by telling you exactly what are the goals or what it is that you need to accomplish to warrant that promotion. And you want to have touch points within the 12-month period I've mentioned.
How often would you say touch points?
I would say at least quarterly.
Okay.
I would say at least quarterly. You don't want to have touch points every single day. And you're busy doing your day job. But you want to have touch points quarterly because you want to check that you still, that the goals that you agreed are still valid. That's still what the company cares about or your department cares about or whatever. And you also want to have touch points to tell them how you're progressing against those goals, because then it's not a surprise. They're not going to come at the end of it and say, oh, but you haven't achieved the goal, or we needed you to do this and you didn't do it. So those conversations give you the opportunity to make sure that you're still in alignment. Your promotion is still happening. Yeah. Sometimes companies are not going to commit to say, okay, yes, we will promote you.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that.
Sometimes they won't
written?
Commit.
They won't, okay.
Yeah, sometimes they won't commit to say, yes, okay, we will promote you. But if they have told you what you need to do to get promoted, then they are in a very difficult situation or position to say to you, no, once you have achieved what they have said. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, because at that point you're flight risk, right?
Exactly.
You told me to do this. We agreed that we're doing this. I've achieved it. I'm performing at the next level.
Right.
What more?
What more? Exactly. So that's why I always say make sure you get the buy-in.
Yeah. That's interesting, because I feel like that buy-in. I was going to ask you, what you think is more important. Is the buy-in more important than the achievement of the goals? It's like it might be a bit of a trick question. Yeah. But yeah, I think you get what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. So the achievement of the goal is the standard. Yeah. Okay. So I want people, I mean, I know we are in I'm a millennial, and I'm on the later end of the millennial group, but I know that a lot of our generation and younger generations want things instantly. Now, this does not work. Like, you need to put in the work. And so when you're saying, does the achievement of the goal, is the buy-in more important than the achievement of the goal? The achievement of the goal is a standard. Okay. Like, you need to perform, you need to excel at what you do. Okay. So your performance needs to be obviously A+. And so Because when you're going for a promotion, that is what you're selling. You're selling the fact that you have performed way above what your current role requires you to do. So if you haven't managed to achieve those goals, like, why am I promoting you? You know what I mean? So that's why I say this is just standard. This is just standard. Getting the buy-in means that you're not doing all of the work for nothing. That is on it, because a lot of what I have seen people do is that they just bury their heads in the sand, and they think that their work is going to do the speaking and the talking for them. That it can happen, but a lot of the time for us Black people and for ethnic minority professionals, unfortunately, it's not always our reality. So we need to make sure that we have that buy-in, so that somebody cannot claim that they didn't, first of all, know that we delivered all of what we've delivered, but then also they cannot claim that they have very little basis for not giving you the promotion, basically.
No, that's wow. Some very, 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 very great points. And I wanted to understand. So you mentioned that it's the standard. But how do you navigate that conversation? That's the part, because I think that's the most interesting. I think that's one of the most difficult things for people. First, they don't even recognize that they have to have the conversation. Okay, now I need to have the conversation. How do I word it in a way that I'm stating my intention? I just don't want to say, I want to get promoted. I mean, why shouldn't you say that? Is that how it is? Okay. I
mean, that's the other thing. I think it all depends on the culture we come from. Sometimes we come from cultures where being too ambitious is frowned upon. Within the corporate world, and again, I just want to caveat that I operate within financial services, so it's a more cutthroat world out here for financial services professionals. So, but if you do not specifically say that you want to get promoted, I'm sorry, but your manager are no mind readers. So true. Please, I mean, if I can say something to people, do have it in you to speak your mind. If it's a promotion that you want, you need to say you want a promotion. People can only give you what they know you want. If they don't know you want it, they will assume you don't.
Okay. They will assume that.
Well, yeah, they will assume you don't, because other people would have gone to them and say, that's what I want.
Okay. That's true. That's who you're competing against. Okay,
yeah, exactly. Other people would have gone and said, I want to be promoted. So if you're not saying anything, it's fair for somebody else to assume it's not something that is of interest to you.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
So it's important to be proactive when it comes to that. And it's not about being greedy, because I think that's the other thing as well, that sometimes people feel like, oh, but my work should speak for me and all of that. But no. What people need to realize, and I have actually seen myself as a manager as well, I am busy. Life happens. I will forget. If you don't tell me that you want to be promoted, look, I have other things to worry about as a manager. I have work to worry about. I have to worry about covering all aspects of work, making sure that when people are off, work still gets covered and all of that. So, I have other things happening in my mind. I have my own career that I need to worry about. So, unfortunately, you're not going to be your manager's priority. And people need to understand this. You are your own priority when it comes to your career. You need to prioritize yourself. And then when you prioritize yourself, you need to push yourself up in the, priority list of your manager. And you do that by having those conversations, open and honest conversations.
Okay.
And there is nothing wrong with wanting more in this life.
No, there's nothing wrong with asking for more. Yeah. Well, a lot of people get shy. And actually that moves us nicely into pay rises. Is it similar type of situation, similar type of process when it comes to pay rises?
So when it comes to pay rises, what I'm going to say is that, I mean, when I talked about promotion, I said you need to be delivering at the next level. With pay rises, what I would say is it can be a similar process, but it doesn't have to be necessarily next level. What people, and I have gotten a few pay rises for myself and for clients as well over the years. And what you need to demonstrate when you're asking for a pay rise is the value that you have brought to the company. Because why am I giving you more money? We always need to ask ourselves the question from the other end of the table, right? Okay, I want more money, but why should I give you more money? What have you done for me? So what have I done for you is, again, remember I told you I always want to be close to where the business, like the core of the business is, because that's where the money is made. So how have you impacted money making within your company? Now, a lot of people will say, well, I don't work on anything that is money generating and things like that. But you need to understand how your role impacts the money generation aspect of your business. For that, you need to understand your business. What is the core of your business, and how does your role fit in? I remember I helped once at a previous company an accounts payable person to get a higher bonus than she had been awarded.
Wow.
This is accounts payable. People will say, but you're only doing accounts payable. She's only doing accounts payable, but no. I remember when bonuses had been awarded, she had come to me and she was like, gosh, I only got X. And I thought I was going to get more. And I'm like, ask for more. And she was like, but what am I going to say? And I'm like, look, you have come into this department. The department was a total mess. There were invoices outstanding for years, years worth of outstanding invoices. We were incurring penalties on the invoices that were outstanding for such a long time. You came in, you cleaned all that mess up. You reduced the amount of penalties and charges that we incurred as a result. This is money you put back into the pocket of the company. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That is accounts payable.
Yeah.
And you need to be so clued up as to how your role impacts the money making. Because somebody will say, I only pay invoices. You need to reframe. You need to kind of make sure you understand the relationship between the role that you have and the money making aspect of the business.
Okay. Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can be an accounts payable, but you still have a direct correlation to your business losing or making money.
Okay.
Because if you're not paying those invoices in time, guess what? They add penalties and you have to pay those penalties.
Wow. That's a very interesting way to think about it, isn't it?
Yeah. So whichever role it is, you need to find ways to relate it back to the money making. And so if it's not money making, sometimes it's time savings as well. Because obviously if you're managing to save time, you're managing to make the company more efficient and things like that. So if you cannot for the life of you think of how you relate to money making within your role, then think about time savings, think about organizational history and things like that, and just see how you have helped the company achieve their goals, make money, become more efficient, that kind of thing. That's what you want to push forward when you're asking for more money.
Okay. Wow. such great tips. And it's crazy because the way you're explaining it, so accounts payable is that's from, just to explain, can you explain to the listeners what
accounts
that
payable is basically the function that receives invoices and process them and pay them. Yeah. So it is not a money making function within the company. Actually, it's one of the functions that people unfortunately looked down on a lot of the time, because again, it's not money making, but you can, as I explained, you can quickly see how mismanagement and mishandling of that function begin to eat up into the pockets of the company. So that's what they do. They receive invoices, they process it. They also do things like reports to understand, how many let's say creditors and age creditors that they have and things like that. So
okay. That makes sense. And that's the thing. Saving money is making money.
That's exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
That's exactly it. And a lot of people don't look at it that way. So a lot of people have this aspiration. They want to get to six figures. A lot of people say, I want to get to six figures.
Yes.
Right? So
who doesn't want to get to six figures?
I mean, it's true. Who doesn't want to? I mean, from your point of view, I'm sure that you get a lot of your clients asking you, look, this is where I want to get to. But on average, what do you think, how long do you think it should take? And I know it's, generally, speaking, it could be different. But let's say in financial services, how long do you think it can take somebody to get there to six-figure salary brand?
Yeah. So remember I said to you earlier that, for me to get to director level, it took me 10 years. But actually, from the time that I was a qualified accountant, it took me, so I qualified as an accountant in, was it 2015, 2016, 2015. Yeah. And I became a director in 2021. So that's 6 years. No, actually, sorry. I made 6 figures within 3 years of qualifying as an accountant, as a qualified accountant.
Wow.
Now, people will feel that this is kind of unheard of.
Yeah, it sounds unheard of.
But what I will say is that, again, it comes down to niching down.
Okay.
Niching down is so important. Like I said to you, I niched down in terms of my language skills and I was going for jobs. And it could be anything. I don't know. Each of us has a unique profile, and we need to tap into our uniqueness and use those uniqueness to propel ourselves.
Yeah.
That's how, and that's how you are able to skip those steps, like I said to you earlier, go from assistant manager directly to fund controller, not having to go to finance manager and all of that. So really, truly, it shouldn't take too long. I'm saying that though, but I'm saying as well, understand that you need to deliver at a very high level as well. Unless you're working for those private equity and hedge funds, that type of industry where there is a lot of money flying around and they have a lot of higher salaries, even at junior levels. Unless you're working for those types. So again, another way is to look at it. If someone is money motivated,
money.
Should I be working, like what industry pays the highest? And you go for those industries. Yeah. But money is not everything. So earning 6 figures, and again, that can be only salary based, or it can be yours, or like when I say basic salary, or it can be basic salary plus bonuses. So don't just be, don't have a tunnel vision only on your basic salary. Look at your whole compensation, because in a lot of places, sometimes bonuses are, quite meaty. Yeah. So understand what the bonus structure is, especially within financial services. Again, I want to caveat that, because I know that it's not the experience of everybody to have fat bonuses and things like that. But understand that within certain industries, there are, different pay structures that are attached. And if you are looking to get to 6 figures, have an understanding of which industries actually pay 6 figures. Because you can be in an industry that never pays 6 figures. You will never make the 6 figure.
Yeah. That's true.
You can work tirelessly, deliver all of what you want to deliver. But if that industry does not pay, you're not getting it.
Yeah.
And that's when I said to you earlier that I wanted to get into the investments field, is because I realized earlier on in my career that was a field where, there was money to be made.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Very, very smart, very strategic as well. I was going to ask you, is there a certain pressure that comes with earning that certain amount? Because a lot of people, they want to get there, and then maybe they get there, but they kind of, their handbrake is, they just put their brake on the pedal and they're like, okay, I'm here now, I'm just relaxed. Do you feel like there's a pressure to justify that kind of salary?
A pressure to justify the salary? So, like, for me, I always say this, like I said to you earlier, your performance is a standard. Like, you need to be delivering at the highest level of your performance. And I really want to hammer this point, because you can't be earning six figures if your performance is poor.
Yeah.
This is, it just won't make no sense. You will lose your job.
Yeah.
Exactly. I need to be clear and transparent. So the only thing though is that if you are earning six figures and you are into management, as I mentioned earlier, you get a better handle of your time.
Okay.
So you are able to better manage your time. You have more flexibility on how you manage your own time. You may have a team and you need to understand how to allocate and delegate work to them so that you are not left doing everything. So I would say, is there a pressure? I mean, the pressure becomes, does my team perform at the level it needs to? And if they don't, why not? What should I do to make sure that the team perform? Because by that point, your team represents you.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
So I find I invest in coaching my team to make sure that they can deliver at the level that is expected.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So okay. So coaching and just knowing where again your responsibilities, right? Because it changes as you grow up. So just very important to understand that, and again, because performance means different things at different levels. Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. What do you have some tips for people for them to stand out? So we mentioned communication, because you can communicate your performance. Is there any other tips that people can do to stand out? So you mentioned niching down as well. Is there anything else that people could do to help themselves stand out from the rest of the crowd? Especially if you're in a high performing company.
Yeah.
So you're all performing well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So high performance is standard. Communication, you need to do that. Niching down, absolutely. So other things that you can do to stand out, I would say is networking.
Okay.
So
interesting. Yeah.
Not just within your own department. You need to understand what other departments are doing within your company. And the reason being is that sometimes when you network with others, as you hear what's going on around the company, you can better understand how your own department or your own work fit into the overall objective and goal of the company. When you are in your silo, you lack that perspective that can give you the edge in terms of what do you then need to do. And also when you network, it can open you to opportunities that you would not have come across otherwise. So networking with another department can help you get visible by that other department, right? And so sometimes, because somebody knows you, they know that there is an opportunity. They know that what your interests are. And then you come up in their mind when something comes up. So they're like, oh yeah, I know Chirstine, in that department is interested in that kind of thing. Let me find out if she will be interested to be part of this project.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing. Another thing, so that's networking. That's one tip. The other thing, again, I started touching on that, would be choosing your projects strategically.
Okay.
And again, that's a whole chapter in the book as well. You want to choose your project strategically by exposure and by significance.
Okay.
Exposure to who are the stakeholders who are, sponsoring the project. So is it senior management? Who exactly is this project?
Yeah.
Who this project is baby to who within the company? And then by significance, think about it. I'll talk about it from my my own experience in terms of, is it a big client of the company? Is it a big portfolio? How much are we talking?
Yeah.
Right. So significance can mean different things to different people, but think about significance from your own context and choose projects that give you exposure to senior leaders.
Yeah.
And are significant. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Fantastic answers. And I love the final part that you said about strategic projects. I think it, like you said, is quite important, because if you have exposure to the people that are making decisions, they're going to remember you when your name comes up.
Absolutely.
Right. So, and I'm sure that you've experienced it.
Absolutely.
Right. You've probably got a lot of candidates coming up. You might hear about their work, but if you don't know them, you're like, okay,
exactly.
How can I vouch for
exactly.
you?
Exactly.
What's that like actually on the other side, now that you're on the other side making those decisions? What is that like for you? Now that you can see, because now you can probably see the gaps, like, oh, actually, you know why you've gotten there, but now you can additionally see new things. Actually, this is what else we're looking for.
Yeah, so I would say one of the gaps, and I see that a lot, is also the attitude that people have. If you have the attitude that you are owed something, and you don't go for it, you don't chase it, it can be difficult to get it.
Okay.
So what I would say is, as I said, don't bury your head in your sand thinking that your work is going to do the talking. Speak to the people who are making decisions and make sure that they know what you want. That mindset is very, very, very important. Like I remember, for instance, someone wanting to change department, coming to me, asking me for my view on that, and me saying, absolutely, go for it, go for the department change, and they went for it, and it was approved and everything. So really, and then somebody else coming to me at the end of the year complaining that they were not promoted when they never mentioned, or if they did, it was once at the beginning of the year and never came back to me after that. As I said earlier, look, I get busy. Your senior managers get busy. They're not going to remember that you spoke to them once at the beginning of the year and you never went to them again for the rest of the year. Right? So what I would say is, that mindset, that determination, right? Knowing what it is, knowing your worth, and being comfortable going for it, like approaching people about it. Yeah. It's not about being annoying. It is about standing up for yourself.
Yeah. I like that. That's the best way to think about it. It's not about being annoying, it's about standing up for yourself. And it's very important because everybody's trying to go for promotion, right? Even your bosses are trying to go for promotion.
Exactly. So. Everybody is trying to go for a promotion. You want to make sure that, so, as you choose your project strategically, you communicate, you network, right? So all of those things combined, and you get that buy-in from your management. puts you in a very good position to actually land that promotion.
Wow. Great. No, great. It's been great speaking to you so much, James. I've learned a lot, and the listeners, I'm sure, have learned a lot as well. What's next for Chirstine and Empowered by Experience?
Wow, what's next for Chirstine and Empowered by Experience? So for Empowered by Experience, I really want to take this to another level, and coach a lot more Black and ethnic minority corporate professionals. So for me, my goal really is to try and reach 100 people this year within coaching. And so if I'm able to achieve that, and even if I'm able to achieve half that, I'll be happy.
Okay,
absolutely.
Great.
So that's what's next for me.
Fantastic. And where can people find you if they're interested in,
So I am on Instagram at Empowered by Experience. I am on LinkedIn, but that's on more of the corporate side. So Marie-Christine Andela, you can find me on LinkedIn. I have my website, empoweredbyexperience.com. You can, anybody who wants to get in touch and who needs to kind of advance in their careers, I'm happy to help.
Okay, great, fantastic. And do you have any final words for the listeners?
Final words for the listeners. Your career advancement is a lot closer than you think, and you have a lot more control over it than you think. Yeah. So you need to just tap into that self-confidence and into a blueprint that works. And as I've discussed, and it will happen a lot quicker than you think.
Okay, great. No, great final words. I love that you said that your career is in your hands, is in your control, because I think a lot of people don't think that it's in their control, and it's very important to understand, like you said, communication, strategizing, and achieving, those three things, plus the more that's in your book. It's been great having you here. Thank you so much for blessing us on the podcast and providing so many great valuable tips. I think the listeners are going to definitely love this one. Thank you to the listeners, watchers, for tuning into this episode of the Takeoff Podcast, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Ato. Bye-bye.